So how does one factor cube roots? Hi, I'm Jimmy Chang. I've been teaching college mathematics for 9 years, and we're here to introduce a couple of examples as to how to factor cube roots. They seem intimidating at first, but once you see what the strategy is, you should be good to go. Now, we're going to do one involving numbers, and we're going to do another example involving variables. So here we go. Suppose you wanted to find out the cube root of 64. Now, basically what you want to ask yourself is, what number multiplied by itself 3 times is going to give you 64? Well, what you can do is you can break up 64 into a couple of ways. But first, let's break up 64 into a factor tree. Now, one such example, and you can break up 64 as many ways as you want, but just come up with 2 numbers that multiply to give you 64. Now, 64, for example, can be broken up as 16 times 4. Now, 4 is pretty easy. You can break 4 up if you want to as well, but you know 16 for sure needs to be broken up. Now, 2 common numbers that multiply to give you 16 is 4 times 4. Now, for right now, let's think about leaving 64 as 4 times 4 times 4, and here's why. Because you know that 64 can be broken up as 4 times 4 times 4, there's a rule in algebra that says you can break it up as those 3 numbers multiplied together. So it'd be 4 times 4 times 4. Now with cube roots, since it is a cube root, that means for every 3 of the same number, you can pull out 1 and there be nothing left. In other words, because there's 3 4s, you can pull 1 of them out and the whole thing would be done. So in other words, the cube root of 64 would just be the number 4. It's a 3-for-1 trade when it comes to numbers. Now, here's one involving variables. Suppose you wanted to find out the cube root of x to the 5th. For variables, it's actually pretty straightforward as well. You actually treat it as a long division problem. You take the outside number, which is a 3, and you divide it into the inside exponent, which is the 5. Now, what's 3 go into 5? Well, 3 goes into 5 one time, remainder 2. Now, why is that important? The 1 is the exponent of x that gets to go out. In other words, x to the first, or x, goes outside the radical. The remainder 2 tells you the exponent that stays in, so that means x squared stays on the inside. In other words, the cube root of x to the 5th is x cube root of x squared. So, I'm Jimmy Chang, and that's how you simplify cube roots.